I elected John Hetty for the Special Hall of Fame Award because he has been a model citizen for the city of Dearborn, as well as an outstanding example of a player, a referee, and a coach in many different hockey arenas over 5 decades. John has participated at all levels of hockey as a coach, as a referee, and as a player. John has achieved 2 Senior Olympic gold medals. He has participated as a coach in 3 state championships consecutively at Mercy High School, as well as a state championship at Catholic Central High School. Additionally, John has coached national championship teams in the North American Hockey League.
There are numerous things about John that make him such an effective coach.
John is just an outstanding individual. If you were to attend one of his practices, you know that he is there for the hockey players. He's organized, he's dedicated, he's a man of integrity, he utilizes his time wisely, and all the lessons that he teaches through the game of hockey can be applied to an individual's life after they leave the rink.
Many of John's former players have gone on to be very successful athletes.
John has sent over 13 people to professional hockey, and currently even a Detroit Red Wing is one of his former players. I think there's probably over 50 players that have played college hockey from John's teams over the years.
John's love of the game and his dedication to his young players here in Dearborn make him a great addition to the Special Hall of Fame.
John definitely has withstood the test of time, and I think the unique thing about him is that he's able to identify and meet people no matter what era he is coaching, playing, or refereeing in. And when you are involved with a person who's dedicated so much to helping others, there's just something genuine that comes through about John Hetty.
David is the best tennis player that's come out of our city. He's a lifelong friend that I've known him, since we were little kids, and we grew up playing tennis together. But I think he was just a natural.
When David was a young tennis player, his coaches recognized that he had the skills to become a real competitor.
He was part of a program, really, I think, helped his game tremendously. He was in a group of kids that he had to observe, he had to assess, and then he had to implement what they were doing and what he was doing. And I think that was his beginning.
David continued to play tennis and truly excelled in high school and college.
He went to Dearborn High, and they had a rich history of some good players. And I, at the same time, was at Etzel Ford. We were kind of like high school rivals throughout those years, and you'd never get down no matter what the situation was. He had the right demeanor to keep you up and keep you going, and he wanted the ball. I mean, he was one of those players who became like, hey, I can win this match for us, or come on, we can do it. So it was always positive, and those were the things that I remember most when we were playing. Was he wanted the ball, he could win the matches, and he was always supportive. We both ended up at Western Michigan. I was 1 year older, so we actually were there for 3 years together, and we played doubles all those 3 years, which was great. And our first year, we won the Mid-American Conference Championship, and it was just a great experience. And we traveled all over the place and played a lot of tennis together throughout that time. So it was kind of a unique thing to grow up playing together as kids, and then to end up at the same college. Once he got into college, he turned another gear, and his athleticism and his desires to compete on a high level were really ratcheted up several notches and stuff.
He did more, and his physical capacity improved as he got to university level, and he took advantage of it. He had a good background. I have to admit that the kids that he worked with and played with helped him more than I did, because he had to deal with them on a regular basis, and they were good players, and he was a good player, and they just pushed each other.
If you had the opportunity to be on the court with David as a fellow player or a coach, there was no doubt he had the skills and the dedication to become a Dearborn legend.
All in all, I don't know the status of all the other people coming out of Dearborn, but I do know that David grew up York Street, I believe it was, and his tennis began there. I think it had a lot to do with his family. His mother and father were tennis people, and he was around a very competitive coach and players, and I think that just rubbed off on him. And he just went through that system and did very well. His recognition for being, part of Dearborn, I think is positive and right, that he absolutely deserves to get anything that they bestow upon him.
Patrick O'Donnell was nominated to the Specials Hall of Fame Award because of the person he is and the contributions that he's made to Dearborn and the residents in Dearborn. Pat was a participant in sports growing up in the Dearborn Parks and Recreation Association. He participated in many sports. His children also participated in the sports programs, and he was an integral part in developing and a founding father of the Metro Basketball Association. He was really the person who helped put the fun in the fundamentals of the Metro Basketball Association. The Metro Basketball Association ran for over 20 years. They had, in those years, over 6,000 participants that were a part of the program. And the thing I can comment about that league is it really was a family environment. There were so many families that dedicated themselves to not only the sport, but each other. And it made an amazing contribution to the families that were able to participate in that program.
Creating a sports program is a huge task, and Patrick has many traits that made him the perfect person to take on this challenge.
Patrick just has a great way about him. He is a planner. He is a person that understood that there's things that have to be taken care of as far as the court and the coaches and the referees, but also the planning and the finances that are required in order to maintain a league like that. Pat was the person who could really ensure that there was integrity with the league, and even after he did all the bookkeeping, he had this personable ability to just connect with people, make the league fun, and really have the kids enjoy the game of basketball and athletics as a whole.
Patrick's many contributions to Dearborn athletics makes him an ideal candidate for induction into the Special Hall of Fame.
Patrick is an outstanding member of the community. Him and his wife, Patricia, are examples to all of just what can be accomplished if you give your most to each other and the people around you, and that extends to everyone that they've encountered through the Metro Basketball Association, the Dearborn Parks and Rec over the years.
At Divine Child, Mia was a key player on the soccer and basketball teams. It was easy for her coaches to see that there are many things about her that made her such a great athlete.
We nominated Mia for many reasons. First and foremost, because she's such a great team player and leader for our program. She's a phenomenal student athlete. She represents Divine Child really well in all areas, not just in the athletic arena, but in the classroom as well. And she's just an all-around really great kid. Her work ethic is second to none. She's such a hard worker. Her coachability is another one. You only have to tell Mia something once and she'll immediately try it and run with it. And she has the whatever it takes attitude to make sure that her team is successful.
Mia is just one of those athletes that really understands what it means to be a team player.
Her leadership is really important. She has, especially from a soccer standpoint, she has an incredibly high soccer IQ. She understands the game really, really well. And the way that she plays and the way that she puts her teammates in the spots that they need to be in, both verbally and non-verbally, speak volumes to the type of player that she is and the type of career that she's had at DC, that those qualities have helped her to be really successful both individually and then help us collectively.
I always want what's best for my teammates. I always look out for them, and I want to always come together to achieve a goal, whether it be winning a championship, winning a game, or even just completing a practice that may be difficult, or just getting through tough times together.
Playing team sports in high school has taught Mia so much.
I've learned how to be a leader and how to manage my time, so when our team might need some confidence boosters, I'll step up to the plate and encourage them and set my examples for my teammates at practice and in games.
Her commitment to her team is something that is obvious to everyone who sees her play.
She's the type of kid that really is driven and very much, wants to be involved, but she always puts the team first. I think that again links back to that leadership that she shows and she's been able to show for several years here.
Emily excelled on both the volleyball and soccer teams at Edsel Ford. That is why she was selected as the nominee for the Van Patrick Award.
Her dedication and leadership this volleyball season set her above the rest of them. And last year she decided to take on a new sport of soccer as a goalie, and we needed a goalie, and she decided to come out first year, and that to me was also the indication that she's a leader, multi-sport athlete, and wants to do what's best for Edsel Ford as well as for her teammates and her friends, which is one of her best qualities is her leadership skills, but also her ability to have a lot of friends on the team.
Part of what makes Emily such a quality athlete is who she is as a person.
She's a very kind person, but she would have a little mean streak, especially when she went to go spike a volleyball. She wanted to put the hurt in the ball to put the ball down and score a point for the team. So she's sweet, but don't make her too mad.
There are so many things Emily enjoys about being part of a team.
You get to meet a lot of new people, and I've made so many close relationships with so many friends. I have a leadership role. I'm a captain, and I really like to encourage my teammates and just help them and to get better.
Being a high school athlete has taught Emily things that go beyond the field.
Definitely the leadership skills. I think that's really important to have, especially with your job, to be a good leader, and definitely to make sure to be able to find a balance between school and sports, because school always comes first, but it's good to do both.
Emily's commitment to the team was obvious to her coaches and to her fellow teammates.
Besides being a senior and leading as a captain, she would play hard for the girl that doesn't get much playing time, as well as her teammates that are on the court with her all the time. So when she wasn't in the game, she was on the bench. She was out of rotation. She was on the bench cheering for her teammates. So when she got back in, we could continue trying to win the contest. But in soccer, more importantly, being a goalie, communicating, especially in her first year, she would cheer on her teammates, and when the play would come her way, do her best to stop the ball.
While attending Dearborn High, Emma played field hockey, basketball, and ran track. Her athletic skills and dedication to her teams is what stood out to her coaches. Those are among the many reasons they nominated her for the Van Patrick.
She doesn't settle for second best. If she doesn't feel like she did her 100%, she'll go out and work harder so that she can improve her performance the next time.
For Emma, being part of high school athletics has allowed her to develop important bonds with her other teammates.
I think making the bonds with my teammates and having the friends after the season and going through all 4 years together has been so amazing.
Her commitment to her teammates is obvious to everyone around her.
She takes her individual events seriously, but I think when she runs the 4x2 and the 4x4, that's really her favorite event, because it's a unit, it's a team trying to go. So, yes, she is a team player.
I think I've worked really hard to try to be the best teammate I can be. If I'm sitting on the bench, I'm cheering on my teammates and just trying to set the best example and cheering on whoever's in the game. I think teamwork has been such a big thing, working with the girls and working with freshmen coming into field hockey, since it's not a big sport and nobody comes in knowing the game, and you just work really hard to help everybody get where they want to be.
Sharing her knowledge of the game with others has been a priority for Emma.
I think teamwork has been such a big thing, like working with the girls and working with freshmen coming into field hockey, since it's not a big sport and nobody comes in knowing the game, and you just work really hard to help everybody get where they want to be.
Very team-oriented athlete. Last year was her first year in track and field for us, but she's already developed into a leader, and we're looking forward to her leadership this year.
Diana was a unanimous nomination by all our coaches. She's a 10-letter athlete. She's starred in all 3 sports, volleyball, basketball, and track. It really wasn't much of a vote on this one. She's by far and away our best athlete.
Diana has many qualities that make her such an exceptional athlete.
I think her work ethic is very good. She easily makes friends. I think that's another thing that, when you have an athlete that can get along with their teammates and lead those teammates, you're going to have a better team.
For Diana, being a high school athlete has been a positive experience for more than one reason.
My favorite part about playing high school sports would be learning, growing up with the same teammates, learning stuff from them and carrying it on through life.
Whether it's during a game or a practice, what's best for her team is something that is always on Diana's mind.
I learned how to work in a team, play, cooperate with everyone. When I'm playing basketball, I always look for my teammates, try to win, do anything, even if it's not just about my stats, just the team win at the end of the day is all I'm satisfied with. And I always help my teammates out with what I know, what I've been coached throughout the years, and that's why I am the player I am today.
She's probably one of the most unselfish kids you'll ever find, and that kind of leads itself to be a team player. She cares about winning and losing, and she cares about her teammates.
During her years at Fordson, Diana has grown as a player and a person.
She's come such a long way. When she was a freshman, she didn't really know where she could go, how good she could be. And I think even to some extent now, because she's so humble, she still doesn't really understand how good she is. And I think that pushes her to continue to get better, continue to compete. And those things are all reasons why, there was no question in our mind that she was our candidate this year.
While attending Fordson, Ibrahim played football and ran track. His dedication to both teams is why he was nominated for
Throughout his 4 years here has displayed great leadership qualities and abilities. He's a hard worker, he's a great teammate. Sometimes it's hard to find kids that are willing to step up to the challenge to be leaders and to also be great teammates, because sometimes in leadership roles you have to get on your good friends and also be a great teammate, so you got to hold yourself accountable as well.
Among the many reasons Abraham has valued his years being a high school athlete is the bond his team has with this community.
I have a unique opportunity just to be playing in Dearborn. This community is very different than other communities. It's very family oriented, and the community just comes together and watches the football games, and that's why it's very special, and that's why I love to be a part of Fordson.
Him has built with his teammates have been a real asset to the overall success of the teams he plays on.
I absolutely think I'm a team player, and I try to be more of a team leader as well. Obviously, I just concluded my senior season, and so it was very important for me to take a step up and to lead my younger teammates and to get them knowing the right techniques, to get them knowing what to do in order to have a successful season, and I think we did just that.
He plays the offensive line, so you really don't get too much recognition when you're playing the game. Usually the skilled kids, the guys that score the touchdowns or make the tackles, usually you hear about them in the newspapers. But he's always been a team guy and never worried about hearing about his name in the paper or getting the accolades for making the great blocks and stuff like that. So he's always been a great teammate.
Michael ran on the track and cross-country teams at Divine Child for all 4 years he has attended. And his performance on those squads has really stood out.
I nominated Michael because Michael is one of the most dedicated athletes I've seen in a long time. And not just on the field of sports, but also in the classroom.
It's who Michael is as a person that really stands out to his coaches and fellow runners.
He's funny. He's a leader. He believes in team. Michael has showed me that even though he is good in what he does, he believes we're all one group, one family. And he takes that very seriously. He has fun. Even when he loses, he has fun.
The relationships Michael has built with his teammates is one of the best parts of his high school athletic career.
Definitely like the family aspect of it, like for cross country, like we have cross country and then we also have mainly all the distance kids who do track. So mainly having all the guys around and having the social aspect of it.
Being a respected member of the team is important to Michael.
Throughout cross country and track, we always practice and it's always hard work and then practicing together. It always pushes each other and you kind of always have to work as a unit when you're running and keep pushing each other because even if you win yourself, you always have teammates coming behind you, which also you have to cheer on and keep pushing.
Michael always strives to put his team first.
He sacrifices. Let's just give an example for this year coming up. Michael is already signed to go to the University of Michigan, and he asked me, Coach, what can we do to try to be very competitive this year in the state? He's willing to sacrifice a place or two to try to help us as a team to be either a champion or a runner-up this year in the state championship. But on the field, he will stop and help others and run with others. People much slower than him. Talk to them, help them. That's team. So he's a team player all the way.
During Jake's time at Dearborn High, he has been a 3-sport athlete, having a great deal of success on the track, hockey, and football teams. His coaches had so many reasons to nominate him for the Van Patrick Award.
Jake's just a winner. He's a hard worker, he's a tough kid, and he's an excellent football player. As a football player, he's strong, physical, he can catch the ball. That's why I nominated, and he's an excellent student. I've had him in class, he's an excellent student too.
It's who Jake is as a person that makes him such an exceptional athlete and team player.
Character is number one. He is just an awesome human being. He makes his teammates better by coming to practice every day on time, ready to learn, giving 100%, and then wanting to get better. Jake spent a lot of time in our weight room, and he spends a lot of time after class studying. So those are kind of some of the reasons for Jake.
Jake's commitment to his teammates is apparent to everyone.
Just being with the team, getting to know the guys, and creating a bond that you really don't create around anybody else, and just playing together.
Competing in high school sports has taught Jake a very important life lesson.
I think I will learn how to never give up, I'd say. So just fight through adversity if some situations are tough.
No matter what the situation, Jake is always happy to help out his teammates.
I lead the team by example. I help kids out if they need help with something, if it's grades or help doing a drill.
Jake's commitment to his team is obvious at every game and practice. That is among the many reasons he is such a respected athlete.
Jake is an ultimate team player. He doesn't worry about himself. He doesn't complain about getting the ball. He wants to win, and he's a definite team player.
While attending Edsel Ford, Ty has been a key player on the football and wrestling teams.
Ty was nominated for the Van Patrick Award by the athletic staff and also our athletic director, Mr. Robert McConnell, for his leadership roles, not only in the sports arena, but in the classroom and also in the community.
Ty has many qualities that make him a great asset to have on any team.
Ty's determined, he's a competitor. You can't be a good athlete without being a competitor, and he's got that drive. So he's always had that since he was little, whether it be from Little League football. He's learned to be a good leader through that. I think a lot of his leadership ability comes naturally.
Ty continually looks for ways to support his team.
My friends probably brings a lot of us real close together. It creates a big family. Making sure everyone knows what they're doing. If anyone asks questions, just helping them out as much as I can.
Playing high school sports has taught Ty a lot of important lessons.
Learning a lot of discipline and just being friendly and kind and helpful to anyone I can.
Ty was lucky to have a special person in his life that helped inspire him to excel in sports.
I think his biggest mentor has been his grandpa in wrestling. Grandpa's been around wrestling for 50 years, and he's been in Ty's corner since he was 8 years old. So I figured between Ty and my other son Cameron, they probably had 750 competitive matches, and Grandpa's only missed probably like 15 of those.
Ty always goes above and beyond for the team, a fact that is obvious to anyone who has watched him play.
I think all the other coaches would agree, everybody who's coaching through the years. I'll just give you a real short example. So Ty's played quarterback since he's been 8 years old. So we get that and it's his junior year. So the coaches come up to Ty and say, hey Ty, we got a quarterback, he's a senior, he's Max Marion. Did a great job for him. And he said, Ty, we're moving you to wide receiver. You're still gonna be the backup quarterback and you're gonna play defense. So Ty says, okay, whatever you need, coach, I'll do it. And he did it. He didn't whine about it. He didn't complain about it. He was just happy to be on the field and contributing to his team.
The Dearborn Recreation and Parks Commission has chosen Emma Obermiller from Dearborn High and Michael Hancock from Divine Child as recipients of the 2020 Van Patrick Memorial Award.